Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Iva Stefanik from University of Coimbra, and I will be the MC of this conference. I would like to welcome all of you here today and wish you a most exciting and productive conference week. Before we start, I was asked by the organizers to remind you that for the security reason, you should not leave your bag or laptop unattended. Thank you. To start the welcome plenary, I would like to call upon our distinguished speakers to take the reserved seats on the stage. On this occasion, I'm honored to invite Professor Adalberto Campos Fernandes, Ministry of Health in Portugal, Dr. Manuel Machado, City Mayor of Coimbra, Professor Joao Gabriel Silva, Rector of the University of Coimbra, and Professor Paula Santana, host and co-chair of the International Conference of Urban Health 2017. Please give a round of applause for our speakers. The welcome plenary will be opened by the speech from the host and co-chair of the conference. Professor Paula Santana, it is my pleasure to invite you to deliver your welcome speech. Please, Professor Paula.
Thank you, Eva. Welcome. Good afternoon, dear Ministry of Health in Portugal, Professor Adalberto Campos Fernandes, dear Mayor of Coimbra, Dr. Manuel Machado, dear Rector of the University of Coimbra, Professor Joao Gabriel, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. In my capacity as the co-chair of this conference, it is both an honor and a privilege to hereby open the 14th International Conference on Urban Health, with a warm welcome and the sincere hope that your participation will represent a valuable and a fruitful experience for all of you. I am equally pleased to note the attendance of more than 640. In fact, today we have 645 delegates from 65 countries. From those are 62% from high-income countries and 38% from low and middle-income countries. The top 10 participants countries are Brazil, India, United States, United Kingdom, Portugal, Netherlands, Australia, Canada, China, and Spain. During the coming days, I would like to engage with all of you in an open and constructive dialogue about how health can be a driver and a pulse for attracting the progress of sustainable development goals following the new urban agenda, as this new urban agenda as a roadmap for building healthy and inclusive cities. The urban health of nearly 4 billion people must be a central component of urban planning and governance. We all know that health is essential for fostering good livelihoods, building a productive workforce, creating resilient and vibrant communities, enabling mobility, and promoting social interaction. Given this understanding, my Department of Geography and Tourism at the University of Coimbra and the Research Center of Studies on Geography and Spatial Planning train future professionals in field of healthy urban planning, emphasizing that strategic urban regional planning is crucial in urban policies, resources allocation, and capacity building. The acknowledgement of the importance of healthy cities is crucial in the context of sustainable development goals. Decisions related to urban planning, finance and governance can create or exacerbate major health risks. Additionally, sustainable urban policies show enormous potential to reduce unfair society inequalities by ensuring better access to housing, jobs, services, education and health. The new urban agenda, for the first time, recognizes the fundamental linkage between health and sustainable urban development, underscoring how the shape and the form of urban development influences the health of cities' residents. I am optimistic that all participants will acquire new skills and knowledge from this four-day conference. And I would encourage everyone to take an active part in these interesting discussions and presentations. We have excellent speakers for 6 plenary sections and 332 oral presentations, 230, today we have more 2 posters, 20 preformed panels, 7 workshops running yesterday and today, involving more than 500 participants. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the joint organizer, International Society of Urban Health, is with Joao here and Shamim, and elsewhere for their diligence. I would also like to express my gratitude from my heart to the Coimbra team organizing, to the local team, for their hard work and commitment over the past year. Mutual efforts were combined to assure that this conference would be a great experience for all of us. Last but not least, I would like to thank our generous local sponsor, mainly the municipality of Coimbra, in person of our mayor, the Coordination and Regional Development Commission of Central Portugal, Turismo Centro Portugal, the Center of Studies and Geography and Spatial Planning, and the International Geographical Union Commission on Health and Environment. Moreover, I would like to thank our diamond sponsors, Nova Nordisk, Novartis Foundation, Abin Bev Foundation, Welcome, and Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. My last words is to highlight that at 6:30 p.m. I would like to invite you to a reception offered by the City Mayor of Coimbra. I wish you success in our presentation, productive sections, and a very pleasant stay in Coimbra. With that, I declare that the 14th International Conference on Urban Health, Health Equity, the New Urban Agenda, and Sustainable Development Goals open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Paula, for your remarkable speech. Next, may I invite Professor Joao Gabriel Silva to welcome you all on behalf of the University of Coimbra. Please welcome Professor Joao.
Well, good afternoon. I would like to welcome you all to Coimbra. In the name of the University of Coimbra, obviously I'd also like to salute the Minister of Health of Portugal, the Mayor of the City of Coimbra, and the head organizer of the conference. On behalf of the University, I would like really to welcome you here and wish you the most fruitful and successful conference, being myself a researcher, at least before I became director, which is a more bureaucratic role. I also went to many conferences, and I always wish to myself, okay, let's see if I go to this conference, and when I come back, I have a new insight, a new idea that really moves me. So that's the best wish I can make to you, is that you will have some insight, some new ideas, some new interchange that will make a difference in your work. The University of Coimbra is a very old one, as probably at least some of you know. It's more than 7 centuries old, was founded in the 13th century, in 1290. It has been a very central university in the Portuguese culture and science. It's one of the very, very few universities that has been declared World Heritage by UNESCO. In our case, certainly because we have a very nice set of buildings, old buildings, very interesting things. I hope you will have the opportunity to visit them. But it's also been declared World Heritage because it has really played a very central role during the development of Portuguese language. Because you might not know that the University of Coimbra has been the only university in all the Portuguese-speaking world, not just in Portugal, in all the Portuguese-speaking world until the 20th century. Only in the 20th century did Brazil and Portugal create other universities. So essentially all the elite of these very large areas came for their education to Coimbra. Lots of contributions were made, for instance, to the science of navigation, which was a quite complex issue during, well, 16th century, 17th, 18th century, and so on. And we always try to learn from history. And one of the things that we certainly have learned is that you cannot reproduce the models of the past. You have to inspire yourself in the models of the past, but you have always to be aware of the problems of the present and the future, as far as we can anticipate them. And certainly urban health is one of the issues that is very strongly with us. Cities have existed for a long time, obviously, but certainly also we have very, very many new, different, evolved problems to deal with. And we certainly have taken this as a very important topic in our university, seen in an interdisciplinary way, from geography to medicine, obviously, to economics, to many areas, to political science, and so on. And we always try to do what we have done during the last 7th century, which is to adapt, understand, and tackle, give our contribution to these big problems that face us. We are not just an old university, we are a quite forward-looking university. For instance, just give you a few examples. We are the only university in Portugal that produces and sells on the market pharmaceuticals, very special kind of them, obviously, but we do that. For instance, we have software developed in one of our spin-offs that is now going around Mars in a satellite whose navigation software has been done here, satellite from the European Space Agency, called Trace Gas Orbiter. So we are in many areas, strongly forward-looking areas involved. We have the best company incubator in Portugal by far, and so I hope, again, coming back to my wish, I do hope that you find Coimbra a fruitful place, not just in terms of the scenery, the history that you certainly will meet here, but also, and certainly above all, on the insight that you can get from an environment that has been over the centuries to promote science and knowledge, to really be able to find there the insight that is going to influence the future of our own work, each of one individually. So, all the success for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Joao, for your kind welcome words. Unfortunately, today we have an absence of Dr. Shamim Talukder, the President of the International Society of Urban Health and co-chair of this conference. However, he was so kind to send us the video that we would like to now share with you.
Welcome from the city Dhaka, Bangladesh. Welcome from the cities of South Asia. Welcome from Delhi, Colombo, Kathmandu. I also express the welcome from Bangkok, Kobe, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, Sydney, Nairobi, Cape Town, Addis Ababa, historical cultural city of Istanbul, London, Oslo, Geneva, New York, all other cities of human settlement as a symbol of individual human inspiration. We all come to the city of Coimbra to express our commitment to make our world sustainable through ensuring healthy cities. As the President of International Society of Urban Health, it has been my pleasure to share the Dhaka Statement as an outcome document of the 2015 International Conference held in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And to say how pleased we are that since that time, it has been a helpful guide for incorporating urban and urban health issues in the goals, targets, and indicators for the Sustainable Development Goals, and the new urban agenda as a part of the UN Habitat process. My organization Eminence began its work in 2003 in the urban areas of Dhaka city, Bangladesh, to address the malnutrition, communicable disease, and non-communicable disease in the densely populated areas of the world. It is a small organization focused on the health issues, nutrition, education, environment, and etc. I am grateful to the International Society of Urban Health and New York Academy of Medicine for giving me and Bangladesh of this opportunity to serve the society in a leadership role since 2015. Today, as the President of International Society of Urban Health, I am committed to act in the same inclusive way that has guided our work at Eminence in our global national work with partners in International Society of Urban Health as well as Bangladesh Urban Health Network. We hope that you will become a member of International Society of Urban Health and join as a change maker for the urban health and development. Finally, I expect that you will enjoy this conference and take forward all the actions set in this conference at your areas, for your cities, for your countries, as well as for the global. Thank you so much.
Next, I would like to invite Dr. Manuel Machado. Oh, just a second, because we have a new video. Apologies. Okay, I believe it's fixed. What is happening?
Ótimo. Estamos aqui.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Manuel Machado.
Eu procurarei. Bom dia a todos. Procurarei fazer-vos uma comunicação muito breve, porque ela vai ser duplicada. A minha situação infolinguística obriga-me a isso, e é essa a razão porque em Coimbra estamos a procurar propiciar o ensino de uma terceira língua. Já partiu? De uma terceira língua, além do português, ao inglês, que o Governo paga, e vamos propiciar às crianças da nossa cidade, do nosso concelho, a aprendizagem de uma língua, seja mandarim, espanhol, francês ou alemão, para eles não estarem como eu hoje perante vós.
I will try to do my words a little bit shortly because, as you may know, my linguistic knowledge are not so well as I would like to be, but anyhow, our municipality will try to do next. It's to give the opportunity to children to study a little bit more than the Portuguese, like for instance, the Mandarin, German, Spanish, so that in future French also, thank you. And also in English, of course, so that in future situations as this one, they will speak a little bit properly.
Ok. Institucionalmente, cabe-me e sinto gosto em saudar aqui o Sr. Ministro da Saúde, o Sr. Reitor da Universidade de Coimbra e a minha querida amiga, aceito que diga assim, Paula Santana, por terem participado connosco neste desafio de acolher a 14ª Conferência Internacional de Saúde Urbana.
So, institutionally,
Let's go.
Okay. So, institutionally, I would like also to welcome not only our Minister of Health, also our Rector, and, if you permit me so, my friend, Paula Santana, so that offered the municipality of Coimbra to accept this challenge of organizing this international conference.
Importante mesmo é dizer-vos, como Presidente da Câmara Municipal de Coimbra, que é para nós um enorme gosto, um grande orgulho em partilharmos com a nossa universidade, a Universidade de Coimbra, a realização na nossa cidade desta conferência sobre saúde urbana.
Most important of all, it is in fact that we have the opportunity and the honor to co-organize with the University of Coimbra this so important international meeting, the international conference discussing about the urban health.
Neste sítio, neste espaço onde vos acolhemos, é uma obra marcante, com qualidade, é uma obra que foi começada em 1602 para várias funções ao longo deste tempo e que agora é destinada a acolher convenções, congressos, conferências, troca de experiências, troca de conhecimento.
It is really important to tell you that the event happening nowadays in this place that was started to be built back in the 1602 for different purposes than nowadays, but even today being used for cultural events, for different kinds of conference, shows, musical concerts and plays.
Todos são bem-vindos. Aqui, em especial, quando celebramos em Portugal o 38º aniversário do Serviço Nacional de Saúde, uma das importantes realizações da democracia em Portugal, graças ao trabalho abnegado de António Arnaud, que é aqui nosso vizinho, Mário Mendes, que foi nosso vizinho, Miller Guerra e tantos outros. O Serviço Nacional de Saúde, que nesta oportunidade quero testemunhar perante vós, que tem contribuído para a melhoria da saúde urbana no sentido técnico e no sentido humanista, como nós o entendemos.
Also important to tell you that it is in fact for Portugal and for Coimbra to celebrate in this place the 38th anniversary of the national health in Portugal with names that are really neighbors here, not only from this from the room that we are in, like António Arnaud, but also different names like Mário Mendes and Miller Guerra.
Trabalharam para isso.
That worked effort for it.
Graças a isso, nós estamos hoje em Coimbra, uma cidade que se afirma há longo tempo, antes de mim e afirmar-se-á depois de mim, como cidade da saúde. graças à cooperação ativa, ao profissionalismo, à qualidade técnica dos nossos trabalhadores, médicos, enfermeiros e outros profissionais da saúde, especialistas e laboratórios de alta tecnologia que aqui trabalham e desenvolvem, e também dos serviços municipais que, quando levam água potável, água para consumo humano, a casa das pessoas, estão a contribuir para a saúde urbana, aos trabalhadores municipais, quando conduzem os transportes públicos, estão a contribuir para a saúde urbana, graças à cooperação ativa, concordante, discordante, mas sempre construtiva, que as diversas instituições da cidade e do país, hoje, do Governo, têm propiciado.
So we are really thankful because it is with the work of those people that we are nowadays able to consider ourselves improving a little bit the work that we have done not only in the city but also in the surroundings for the well-being of the general population. In fact, we are really honored and thankful for not only the doctors, nurseries, but also all the people that are in some way concerning with the different works of health. For instance, like going to distribute potable water in the different surroundings of Coimbra, they are in some way contributing for the well-being of the population. And in fact, it is our effort as a municipality to develop different departments in what concerns the well-being not only in the population of Coimbra but also a little bit all over Portugal and in the world.
De facto, em Coimbra, desde há longo tempo se defende e se pratica que as doenças das pessoas também têm cura quando se trata das doenças sociais, ou seja, do meio envolvente que determina determinado tipo de comportamentos. Essa é a prática desde há longo tempo nesta encantada e fantástica cidade que vos acolhe.
So, also our city, our enchanted city, it has been for so many centuries, not only for the few years, but also since ever, we believe that to cure the disease that some people have, we have also to share a little bit and to contribute to the well-being, because curing and solving our problems, health problems, we are also contributing for the well-being all over the city.
Naturalmente que sabemos que não vivemos num mundo perfeito, nem numa sociedade, nem numa cidade perfeita. Mas tendo consciência disso, o nosso trabalho, o vosso trabalho, o contributo da reflexão que aqui vão ter nesta importante conferência que acolhemos com gosto, será certamente conclusivo, útil, importante para melhorar a saúde da cidade, da nossa cidade, das vossas cidades. E isso agradeço-vos como Presidente da Câmara Municipal de Coimbra e agradeço também terem escolhido a nossa cidade, Paula Santana. Obrigado pela escolha de nos encontrarmos no Convento de São Francisco.
We know that we don't live in a perfect city yet, but we believe that after this meeting during these days till 29th of September, that the discussion and that the researchers that are meeting all together, in some way we are able to find some solutions for the problem, not only for the city but for the world around. But as a mayor, I'm really thankful and I'm honored to receive this meeting, especially for the first time in Portugal and especially for the first time in Coimbra. And for that, I thank especially in the person of Paula Santana, that the organization have choose the city of Coimbra for that. Thank
Obrigado
you
a todos.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. And a good stay in Coimbra. Thank you. Obrigado.
Thank you very much and welcome to Coimbra and feel at home, please.
Obrigado.
Dr. Manuel Machado, muito obrigada. Thank you very much for your hospitable welcome. Finally, I'm honored to invite Professor Adalberto Campos Fernandes, Ministry of Health in Portugal, to deliver his welcome speech. Please welcome Professor Adalberto Campos Fernandes.
Obrigado. Dear City Mayor of Coimbra, Dr. Manuel Machado, dear Rector of the University of Coimbra, Professor Joao Gabriel Silva, dear Co-Chair of the International Conference of Health, Professor Paula Santana, ladies and gentlemen, the Portuguese National Health Service celebrated its 38th anniversary this month. Over this very same period, much has changed in Portugal. According to a recent published article in The Lancet, Portugal is listed among the top 10 of the safest countries to be born, with one of the lowest neonatal mortality rates in the world. The NGO Save the Children, in its assessments of the best places for children to be born and to grow up, has ranked Portugal in the 6th in the world. Finally, the International Business Times has named Portugal one of the 5 best countries in the world in the field of healthcare services. This international recognition is in fact very motivating. However, health determinants extend far beyond the confines of hospitals or the number of professionals working there on their timeliness. It is precisely for this reason that this year the International Conference of Urban Health main topic is so important: the objectives for sustainable development. The first objective for sustainable development aims to put an end to poverty everywhere and in all its forms. As such, there is no doubt that citizen health depends on their socio-economic conditions. Housing, hygiene, employment, and nutrition are very relevant examples. Thus, the Portuguese government has defined the increase of the Portuguese revenue and the support of the ones who live in poverty as its priorities. Combating poverty and inequality is in fact the first step in promoting health. And let there be no doubt that through its policies, the present government has been quite successful in this field. Once again, Portugal has been favorably evaluated and recognized in this regard. Today, after a period of economic crisis in which poverty and inequality were on the rise, Portugal is once again a better place. Nowadays, Portugal is a cool place to be in. The second objective for sustainable development aims to put an end to hunger, to attain food security, and to improve the nutrition level of all citizens. The actions of Ministry of Health could not be more in line with this vision. For this reason, we have started from the beginning. We carry out the first broad-reaching national food survey on food security in Portugal, and the results of this historical study have shown the need for urgent intervention in terms of eating habits in Portugal. Bad eating habits are responsible for 9% loss in healthy years of life. That said, if you want to promote health, we must necessarily promote healthier eating habits. The Ministry of Health has created the first interministerial group whose mission is to develop a strategy which deals directly with the promotion of healthy eating habits. As an example, I would like to point out that one of the measures provided for this strategy is making drinking water freely available in all public spaces. Both cities and their suburban areas will be essential partners in this undertaking. I am sure you have also witnessed a particularly courageous decision, which was the taxing of sugar-sweetened drinks. Regarding this experience, I must share with you that at the beginning of the process, there were several doubts regarding it. Even though, a few months later, the results are already showing that, thanks to this regulation, we observe a reduction of 25% in the sales of sweetened drinks. After this big victory against sugar, our next target will be the reducing the public salt consumption. Ladies and gentlemen, only those with healthy lifestyles can truly enjoy the fullness of their life's potential. This fact leads us to the third objective for sustainable development: to achieve a healthy life and to promote the well-being of others at all ages. The Portuguese have a greater life expectancy than the average Europeans. It is true. Yet, it is also true that we are a country with the fewest number of healthy life years after the age of 65. In other words, the Portuguese live longer, but they struggle with non-communicable diseases during their last years of life. It is for this very reason that the government has decided to give priority to the promotion of active and healthy aging. To this end, the National Strategy for Active and Healthy Aging was created and announced a few days ago. This innovative strategy, whose elaboration was led by Professor Pereira Miguel, is based on three major axes. They are healthy, participation of citizens, and the safety of elderly people. Thus, I am happy to announce that this strategy will be implemented starting during the next weeks through very concrete measures and initiatives. But let us not forget the role of the cities themselves in this cultural transforming process. The city mayors' action will be key to this strategy implementation. So, an increasingly close relationship with local authorities is essential. Only through this close articulation we will be able to interfere in the organization and the architecture of cities. We shall then never forget that the promotion of healthy lifestyles and physical activity must rule most of our infrastructural decisions. The safety of the aging population is also dependent upon this proactive approach. In cities where proper pavements and access ramps for all public spaces represent cities that are both friendlier and safer for seniors. Ladies and gentlemen, urbanization, the central theme of this conference, is directly linked to the whole objectives of sustainable development. The increase in the proportion of urban dwellers over the age of 60 brings with it a series of risks to safety and lifestyles. At the same time, the phenomena of a rural exodus of the younger population has resulted in a greater number of seniors and a deeper sense of isolation amongst them. This is an actual problem we face in the countryside and the most interior areas of the country. Finally, I would like to assure you that the Portuguese government is totally committed to achieving the objectives for sustainable development. In my opinion, as a political leader in healthcare and also a member of the government, the complete implementation of all of the 17 objectives for sustainable development in Portugal will depend upon our capacity to promote a good urbanization. And by good, I mean one which guarantees healthy lifestyles and that never neglects the most vulnerable, the poorest, and the aging populations in our country. So let us keep working. Let us not stop the fight for health. Thank you very much. Have an excellent Congress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Fernandes, for this meaningful speech. Distinguished guests, honorable speakers, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the opening ceremony. I'm thankful to all speakers and participants to this ceremony.